Welcome to Joke Story Trick Live with Michael Kent. I'm him. Let's go. Oh my gosh, it's so great to be back. Happy New Year, everyone. And I hope you all had a great holiday. Hopefully everyone is healthy and safe. I had an awesome break. I've been doing a ton of virtual magic shows from here in the studio for private groups all winter. And I have a ton of those more coming up too. Tonight I've got Matt Franco on the show. I'm very excited about that. I can't wait to talk to him about magic and about what he's been up to. But let me ask you, how have you all been? I've missed everyone. If you're in the chat watching, please say hello. Let me know you're here. And also be sure to take a minute now at the top of the show. Click the share button and watch the show tonight with your friends. Share this live feed to your timelines and help me grow the show this season, because I've got a giant list of guests coming up to share stories in the next few months. You won't believe some of the people that are coming up in the show. Hello, everyone in the chat. Good to see everyone. We've got Chris.
Chris.
All right. Good to see everyone. We've got Eric.
My name is Eric.
All right. And Heather here. Hello, Heather. Good to see you. Hey, Mark. What's going on, Mark? Where's Mark?
Mark.
There's Mark. Oh, gosh. We got so many people coming to watch. I appreciate all of you. And Mitch is here. Hello, Mitch.
Money making Mitch.
And that means Andrew's here, too.
Money making Mitch.
And Andrew. Good. Anyway, thanks for following, Gina. Good to see everyone here. And gosh, let's just get on with it. But before we do that, a quick word about another project that I've been involved in. It's the Tell Me What to Google podcast. Some of you have already heard this podcast. Every week, a listener calls in. They tell me something they've recently learned from the internet that they think I should learn about. Then I do a deep dive on the topic for like 20 minutes. If you listen to podcasts and you like learning new things, this show is for you. It's called Tell Me What to Google, and you can search for that and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And with that said, let's look at some stupid news. King's Hawaiian is being sued for not actually making its sweet rolls in Hawaii. This lawsuit could result in one beer being renamed Milwaukee's Okayest. Who's going to be the one to tell them about Rocky Mountain oysters? They're not oysters. China is testing a hypersonic jet engine able to reach anywhere on Earth within a matter of hours. Anywhere on Earth will be accessible in just 2 hours. Unless you're trying to get from LA to Burbank. That still takes 4. In Bulgaria, they're using hot dog trucks to deliver the first shipment of the COVID vaccine. The problem comes from the fact that the hot dog trucks come in groups of 8 and the vaccines come in groups of 10. In Queens, New York, an angry squirrel is aggressively attacking residents. But I guess you'd be angry too if your 4 square foot apartment costs 2,000 acorns a month. And finally, in Berlin, a fox has been found with an impressive shoe collection. For weeks, people in Berlin were baffled that a thief was stealing all their shoes at night. But I, for one, saw this coming. This has been your stupid news. While I was reading the stupid news, I see a few friends in the chat that I want to give shout outs to. We have Christopher Morrow, who just got engaged. Congratulations to Christopher. Heather Bachtel McBride, good to see you down there in Georgia, where the results are coming in, and I'm keeping an eye on the results over here. Let's see. We've got Josh Walters in Richmond, Indiana. Richmond, Indiana. Nope, that's nearby. He's in Richmond, Virginia, further away, but grew up with me in Urbana, Ohio. And CJ Johnson is here. Unbelievable. Eric Dittelman, the squirrel is no joke, he says, because he lives in Queens and he knows the squirrel personally, I think, and also wrote that joke, I believe. Eric helps me write the show. Thanks for liking the stream, Josh Walters. Hello to everyone. For those of you who are new, Joke Story Trick is a 45-minute live stream every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. where we do exactly that. We tell jokes, we tell stories, and I do a trick. I even teach a trick. If you are watching me right now on YouTube, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. If you hit the subscribe button, make sure you also click the bell. And when you click the bell, that way you'll never miss a show. If you're watching on Facebook or you're watching on Twitch, please do the same and follow me and share it. Every set of eyes helps, and I greatly appreciate it. With all that said, let me teach you how to magic.
Teach me how to magic. Teach me how to magic. Teach me how to magic.
You ain't messing with my
Magic.
All right. We got Nicole here. Hello, Nicole. And tonight I'm going to teach you more of like a bet trick. It's like a bar bet trick, okay? What you'll need for this, you don't have to have it right now, but you can have it in the future. All you're going to need is a rope. You just need a rope. You can also use like the headphone cable or like your headphones, or you can use a charging cable from your phone, whatever you have. It just got to be like a long thing like that. I've got a rope because I'm a magician and I'm sitting here with a 200-foot spool of rope. And here's what you tell people. I bet you can't tie a knot in the middle of the rope without letting go of the ends. So you have to hold both ends the whole time and tie a knot in the middle of the rope. I'm going to switch to this camera so that you can see this a little better. So you lay the rope down like this, and they can't do it, right? If you're holding a rope here, there's no way possible. You can contort your body. You can do all these things. You just can't do it. You can't tie a knot in the middle without letting go of the ends. Here's how you win the bet. This is what you do. This is going to be hard to do with the microphone. Let me get this up out of the way. You do this. You cross your arms. You cross your arms and then you pick up the rope like this. And you don't let go of the ends of the rope. I'll hold the ends of the rope. Then I just shake the rope off my hands. And you're left with a knot in the middle of the rope. Okay, so I'll do this again. If you've got a headphone cord, if you've got a charging cable, you can do it that way. You can also use a rope or a string or a shoelace. Here's the important part. When you fold your arms, one hand has to be underneath, one hand has to be up on top. That's the important part. So when you pick up the rope, you pick one hand up underneath on one end, the other end of the rope you pick up from the top. So we've got this one on top, this one's going to grab the other end. Boom, like this. Now all you do, you don't let go, you just uncross your arms and you get a knot in the rope. And then if you really want to show off, I'm not going to show you how to do this. If you really want to show off, there is a fancy way of doing this. You just sort of shake it. And if you shake it, boop, you can do it that way too. With all that said, you guys, I just taught you how to magic.
Teach me how to magic. Teach me how to
Magic.
Teach me how to
Magic.
You ain't messing with my
Magic.
Awesome. We're going to have Matt Franco coming up here in a little bit. I'm super excited about that. Matt is a magician who is a headliner in Vegas, a friend of mine going way back. But before we do that, it's time for a joke. A man walks into the produce section of his local supermarket and he asks to buy half a head of cabbage. The boy that's working in the department told him that they only sell whole heads of cabbage. The man was insistent that the boy ask the manager about the matter. Walking into the back room, the boy says to the manager, "Some old bastard outside wants to buy half a head of cabbage." As he finishes, saying that, he turns around. I was telling Matt before the show, sometimes my teleprompter jumps ahead. He finishes his sentence, he turns around, and he finds that the man had followed and was standing right behind him, just got called a bastard. So the boy quickly added, "And this gentleman kindly offered to buy the other half." The manager approved the deal, and the man went on his way. Later, the manager said to the boy, "I was impressed with the way you got yourself out of the situation earlier. We like people who can think on their feet here. Where are you from, son?" "Canada, sir," the boy replied. "Why did you leave Canada?" the manager asked. The boy said, "Sir, there's nothing but prostitutes and hockey players there." "Is that right?" replied the manager. "My wife is from Canada." "Really?" replied the boy. "Who did she play for?" And that, my friends, is how you butcher a joke. I can't be the only ones telling jokes on the show here. That's why I want your jokes on the show every week. And so please do me a favor, submit a joke. It's michaelkentlive.com/jokes. And when you do that, I'll read it on the show next week. We've got a great show next week. Or just give them to me on Facebook or something. That's pretty great too. And now is the time to choose a completely random joke from one of my old joke books. So everything here is on the wheel is a joke book that I own. We're going to spin the wheel. Let's see here. We ended up with the Milton Berle. Classic. CJ Johnson, you're going to be the one to choose the page tonight. Milton Berle's private joke file. Actually, not that private. You can buy this on Amazon. There are 619 pages in this book, CJ. I want you to tell me a number in between. This is the world's worst book test. Just tell me a number somewhere, any page in here, 1 to 619, and I will choose a joke, an antiquated joke. I will skip past the problematic ones, and I will read whatever joke you want. CJ says number 78. So let's see here. Number 78. Page 78. Here we go. People are trying to make ends meet any way they can. In one Los Angeles apartment building, an inspector recently found 4 families living in one room of one apartment. Chalk lines marked the property of each family. The inspector asked, "How can you live this way?" One of the dwellers answered, "It wasn't bad until last year. Then the guy over there started taking in boarders." Ooh. Okay, here's another one. A blind man tells a friend about how bad things are. He hasn't even sold one pencil and goes on, "I haven't got a penny. I'm crippled, I'm blind, and I have 18 kids at home." The friend asks, "How do you end up with 18 kids?" "I'm blind. Can I see what I'm doing?" Listen, Josh says, and the rent is 2,000 acorns a month. Billy Hardy says, do they have to be clean? I have one, but no foul language, but the content is a bit risque. Billy, send it in. michaelkentlive.com/jokes. I would love to have your jokes on the show, and I'll read those. It'll be better than whatever we have here. So we appreciate you. Let's do a story. I met tonight's guest a few years ago when we were both performing on the college circuit, and since then, he has gone on to become such an amazing performer, and he was an amazing performer when he was young, but he went on to win America's Got Talent. He was the first magician to win America's Got Talent. He has his own theater and a nightly show on the Strip in Las Vegas. Please welcome to the show my friend, magician Matt Franco. What is up, Matt? How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's good to be back on doing the show again, and I'm super happy that you were able to come on as the first guest of the year. I was pleased as punch when you said you could do it. Unfortunately, one of the reasons you can do it is because your show is dark right now, right?
Yeah, it's been 297 days, but who's counting?
Oh my God. You got it down to the night. And you were doing how many shows a week before that?
About 7-ish. Depends on the week. I mean, this past week, it would have been, I think last year we did like 37 shows within, I don't know, 15 days or 20 days or something crazy like that during the holidays.
Oh,
no days off, so it just depends.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Thank you for sharing the stream, Christopher James. Let's get rid of that alert. Okay, go away. Go away, alert. Sorry about that.
No. Speaking of alerts, I forgot to silence my phone, so I'm guilty too.
No worries. Is this setting up I thought you were setting up a magic trick. That's
Nope.
The thing about hanging out with magicians is that we have these cheesy segues into magic tricks. Like, speaking of alerts, and then you make your phone disappear. Anywho, so you at one point you were headed back.
Yeah.
And then we had the second wave of the pandemic come through.
Yeah, which wasn't a huge surprise to me, but the idea is to get back whenever we can safely do so. But in the meantime, I'm actually doing a lot of work on the show, and even just like in the theater. We're doing some stuff with the scenery. We're making some updates to the theater itself, to the show itself, the music, the lighting, and even the magic. So it's been a good time to work on creative stuff.
Matt, how do you write for a show that you don't exactly know what's going to look like or feel like. At this point, you don't know if there's going to be that mandatory 25 feet between you and them or not.
You just go by, you go by what the guidelines currently are, with keeping in mind that they could and probably will change somewhat regularly. It's a little bit of a touch and go thing. So you kind of just have to plan as best you can. And I think it's really just not the time to be a perfectionist. The idea is to try to bring people entertainment safely when it's possible. And whenever that is outside of my control. So I try not to let it get me down too much.
That's amazing. And it's great that you've been able to keep your staff there and have them come in and work with you and keep them feeling like they still, are doing something as well.
A little bit, yeah, as much as we can. Some I hadn't seen in a great while until recently. And even then it's strange with the mask and with the distance. It's all stuff we're still getting used to. And I can only imagine what it's like seeing an audience that way with 25 feet and everybody socially distanced. So it'll be interesting. I think the longer it takes for us to come back, the more it will look normal when we do come back.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But if we come back sooner than later, I think a lot more of those restrictions that we have to work around, of course, for safety will be in place.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Did you ever do what Christopher in the chat wants to know, did you ever do a physical distance version of your show?
Never. Towards the end, like I should say, towards the beginning of when this all started, so it was right before we had shut down, I altered material in the show to minimize participation, probably in the weeks of March leading up to March 14th when we actually went on pause. So just those changes that were really day of, it was like, oh, we got to change this now. Oh, we have to change that now. And it was just to be responsible, really.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting, man. I wish you the best. I hope that you're able to open up soon and safely and not one day sooner than it is safe.
Exactly.
Our show's open, and I can't believe it. I don't have anything to say good or bad about those shows other than I hope that everyone's being safe and responsible when they
I don't know that, not very few, and they're really on a small scale where you can't have more than, I think it's 50 people.
Yikes.
So I'm not even sure that a lot of those had started and stopped again. And me personally, I just would like to open once and do it right. But again, outside of my control, we'll have to see if that'll be possible to just do it once. It might be stop and go.
Yeah, but it's good to be, and there's no better training than dealing with weird situations than coming from the college market.
But this one we haven't seen.
We have not seen this one. We haven't seen this one. But in terms of like, oh, today you're performing in this type of room and these rules apply that you've never dealt with before, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no one knows there's about to be a show, and no, we don't have someone to introduce you.
Do you miss that ever? Do you ever miss doing the college thing?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I loved it. I genuinely really, really loved doing it. So there are parts of it that I miss. There are parts of travel that I don't miss too.
Yeah.
Right. So I never take for granted being able to go into the same venue each and every night. I enjoy that quite a bit, but you'll notice on my off weeks, I do sometimes go out on the road. It's kind of like variety, I guess, is the spice of life, right?
Sure. Absolutely. Well, I brought you on the show to have you tell a story. I have no idea what your story is, and so I'm super excited to have you tell. I'm going to full screen you and take it away, my friend.
Exciting.
Did I time it right? Hopefully.
Yeah, it actually was really good.
I want to just talk a little bit about, actually, it pertains to my show in Vegas. This is going back a few years, maybe 3 years or so, not sure, maybe 4 years. And every so often, we have special guests, public figures, sort of celebrities who come to the show. But more often than not, for me, it's magicians that I'm most excited about if they're coming to the show, especially if it's someone that I've known and admired, respected for a number of years. It's not the typical A-list movie star that I get most excited about, right? Everyone else of our team is excited if it's Channing Tatum or Scarlett Johansson, Martin Lawrence. Let me just pick up those names. I could have kept going, but I didn't, so be thankful, all right? I'll just leave those three right there. Okay. But one night I walked into the theater and someone lets me know from our team, says, oh, Penn and Teller are coming tonight. And I thought to myself, wow, that's really exciting, but it's kind of weird that they wouldn't just call and say, hey, Matt, as fellow headliners, would you mind if we get a couple of seats for your show tonight? Would totally be not a weird thing and understandable. And they said, well, I think the reason they didn't do that is because they're bringing a lot of people, like 30 plus people, and they just bought the tickets. And I'm still thinking like, wow, what a class act. I mean, it's Penn and Teller. Even if we're completely sold out for Penn and Teller, you start, you bring in extra chairs, you start kicking people out, you make certain audience members run the spotlights. I don't know, you figure something out to make sure they can come. Nonetheless, class act, they're coming with their families and with their whole team, essentially, and even some of their team's families, a lot of people. And because they had gotten their tickets that week, of course, they're not going to be able to sit all together. It's any pockets of 4 or 5 people spread throughout the entire theater, wherever they could get the seats. So I'm excited this is all happening. I'm a little bit nervous. Now, this had been the first time they were coming to see the show. I know them at this point, but not well. They're Penn and Teller front and center-ish, maybe the third row back on the aisle. I can see Penn and his wife, and I can see Teller and Penn's daughter. I don't see his son, but I see kind of different people from their group scattered around. Some I recognize, some I know. And I'm going through the show, and I probably was a few hundred shows into my run at the Link at this point, so I was fairly comfortable. Things seem to be going pretty okay, and I'm muscling my way through. And now it comes to the end of the show-ish, where I'm going to, for the first time in the night, pull up an audience volunteer that's on the younger side. I'm going to pull up a kid. Now, you know this, Michael. If I were to come to your show, and let's say I'm with my wife, for example, you're most likely, if I had to guess, you're not going to pick her strictly because you and I know each other, even though you and her probably haven't met. The dynamic would be weird if you pull up someone, not even that just the person you know, but even someone they're with. It changes the interaction totally, and it needs to be organic. Yes?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So same thing. Even more so if it's someone like public figures that they're out to have a good time. So I never want to inadvertently put the spotlight on them in a way that they're just looking to have a regular night out. This was their one night to not be on stage.
Right.
So I look off into the distance because I see where they're sitting, and I look really far to the back, maybe a couple rows from the very last row of the theater. Now I can't really see back there, but I can see the shadow of a kid bouncing up and down, raising his hand, wanting to participate. And I said, "You, come on down." And I see the shadowy figure coming, and I say, "What's your name?" And the kid yells, and out of the darkness, "Zoltan." Very unique name. I immediately recognize it as Penn's son. I'm extremely embarrassed at this point. So much going through my head of like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. Why is he not sitting with the family? What is he doing over there? How did I not recognize that it was him? Oh, it's dark, I can't see. I go off Mike Penn, is this okay? Like stage whispering. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. But I'm thinking, oh my God, all 30 of them now think that I don't have the common sense to not pick someone from their group, never mind Penn's son, to come on stage. So he comes on stage. I'm going through the bits, and I can't remember specifically, but there's some lines in there that I'm sort of playing off the fact of how well he's doing, and magic must be in your blood and things like that. And the lines are playing for the lay audience, but I still don't really know how these important folks are interpreting it. So, and then at the end of the bit, for doing such a great job, I have this part where I usually give a piece of Matt Franco merchandise to the participant for doing a job well done. In this case, it's a Matt Franco deck of cards. And normally that comes with some excitement. Of course, when you're Penn Jillette's son, one of the most famous, successful magicians of our time, and you receive a Matt Franco deck of cards, it was like, he just kind of looked at it like, huh. And the way I read his face was like, what am I going to do with this? Right. So he puts that away, and there was lots of humor in it. And I send him back to his seat. And it was the most embarrassing thing ever. However, the silver lining in all of this is that, talking to Penn afterwards, Zoltan had the time of his life doing this, because being pulled on stage by a magician, sure, it could be a once in a lifetime thing, but even more so for him. And I never thought of it this way, but anytime they go to shows, people do what I was trying to do. and they're respectful and they're not
Sure.
calling attention to the fact that they're there. They're not ever going to select someone that they know and things of that nature. So he had a great time, and it was really embarrassing to me, but it worked out quite all right, and was a chance for him to participate on stage in a magic show, which probably wouldn't have happened unless it was a freak accident. And there you have it.
It's fantastic. It's an amazing story, and you're right. Like, Zoltan probably appreciated that way more than you were thinking in your head at the time. Because
I think so.
Exactly what you said. Probably not that often that a magician's kid gets to really enjoy someone else's show with that same sense of wonder and newness, and seeing, oh, well, this is how this other person, it's not you, daddy. This is someone else, dad's not cool doing, what I mean? No one's dad has ever been cool doing their job. You know what I mean? Like, to the kid.
It was quite the night. Yeah. One of the bits that Zoltan had to do on stage was fire this cannon into the audience, this cannon of playing cards. And right before he shot it, he looked at his dad and did this. Yeah, I was like, it's coming at you.
That's awesome. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, so he had a lot of fun with it.
It's fantastic. Well, that's a great story. You've hit one of the 3 things required for the joke, story, trick trifecta. Do you have a joke, Matt?
Yeah, it's a lot worse than the story.
Okay. I'm gonna get. Should I get laughter or a boo sound bit ready?
Oh,
we're just gonna give you. We'll give you a rim shot. We'll give you a rim shot regardless.
I'll let you be the judge of that.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna do it this way, but I might as well just.
By the way, everyone can see you're not wearing pants. Just so you know, everyone can see that.
I haven't been wearing pants since March 14th, 2008. Has nothing to do with the pandemic.
Right.
Oh, does that count as a joke? That was kind of good.
It counts, but I still want to hear your other joke.
I stole that from Bill Malone. He told me that on the phone the other day. These are my shoes. I got these from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with. I've been tripping all day.
That is a joke for 8-year-olds, and I love it. I'm going to steal it. That's great.
You're going to tell a drug dealer joke to 8-year-olds?
Hey, it depends on the 8-year-old.
What kind of 8-year-old were you?
Depends on where I'm at, I guess. That's great. So we've got the joke, we've got the story, you've got the duo. What about a trick?
Oh, you want? Can I?
I would love for you to do a trick. Are you allowed to do a trick? I don't know what your contract with the link is. Are you allowed to do magic on other shows?
I'm unemployed. I've been unemployed
You're not
for like 10 months.
The theater is still named after you, my friend.
We think.
Have you been?
Well, I was thinking about this because I know it's called joke, story, trick. And I was thinking, well, how the heck am I going to come up with something to impress your audience? They're watching you. Obviously, it's a magic savvy audience. You might have magicians. I know you have magicians watching because you shouted some of them out.
Yeah.
But also, even college audiences are savvy. They see a lot of magic too.
Absolutely.
Yours do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they see 2 to 3 magicians a year, which is more than anyone sees.
Am I full screen? Yes, perfect.
Just full screen,
I was thinking about what to do for this, and I thought, maybe I could come up with something with cards. If, like, for example, if I were to just shuffle the cards and cut to a random card, shoot it out so far that it goes right out of frame. In this case, it happens to be the 2 of spades. I thought, well, that's really not that impressive. But if I could cut to a second one, and it happened to be the other 2, the 2 of clubs, that might be something you guys would like. Although I thought, that might not be enough. I should do something maybe visual. And I want to make sure you all can see this. I'll keep them just like this. And with a little bit of a rub, I can actually get those to turn red to diamonds and hearts. What? And I thought, you know what? I feel like for the Michael Kent crowd, this might not really be enough. So we'll get rid of those. And let's see if we can try something a little more fun. Maybe just like a little bit of a tap. Like that. And watch this. It actually just falls right out. Isn't that cool? And it happens to be the 2 of spades. Now, if you want to find the 2 of clubs, I can do that again with a little bit of a cut, just like that. Did you see it? There it is. Spins right out the 2 of clubs. Now, I thought, what if that's not enough? What if I should take the 2 of clubs like this so you can see it on camera, and all I do is pass the hand over it and get it to change the 2 of hearts? That might be something you thought was cool. But I thought, no, because I covered it with my hands, people might think like that's that's kind of a thing where like if I covered it, it could be like sleight of hand that I did it with. So let's try it without that. If I just, for example, were to take this one and just give it a little spin like that, and you can actually get that to change to the 2 of diamonds. Would that be cool?
It's great.
I don't know if that would be cool or not. I really don't. So now I lost a couple of them because this one is the 2 of clubs. That's the 2 of spades. Tell you what, let's just give the deck a little bit of a shuffle like this to try to find the other ones. So we give them a shuffle. Boom. There are the other 2s. And I thought, you know, I really can't hear anybody reacting because we're doing this through the internet. So I'm just going to skip all this. I'm going to get rid of these and we'll try it with the 2 of diamonds. Watch the 2 of diamonds. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Check it out. All you have to do is take the 2 of diamonds, and I'll leave it in a spot, hopefully where it's on frame where you can see it. And also the 2 of clubs. We don't even have to put it down. All we have to do is take it in the hands. You rip it, and you get the aces. And then you take this one and you rip that and you get the other 2 aces. And I thought that might be something that they like.
Good stuff, my friend. You have done a joke, you have done a trick, and you have told a story. And that is the joke story trick. Which means your name gets put in the credits of my show, which may be your best credit to date.
100%.
Could be among the top 1 or 2. We've got. I'll read some of the comments for you. Wanda Stockton loves seeing Matt Franco. Josh Chaikin says, "Wow, very nice. Matt's got chops." Christopher Morrow says, "Nice." Eric Dittelman clapped his hands for you. Heather McBride put an emoji in there. Don't know what it means because my eyes aren't very good and it's very small, but I'm sure it means something good. She hit the emoji for I know how he did that. That's what that emoji is.
I didn't even know we had one of those.
I don't know. I'm sure there is.
Great.
Samantha gave a high five. So it's a great time to plug your show with Eric Dittelman since he's in the chat right now. I was talking about my podcast earlier, but before I started podcasting, these guys started podcasting, and they do a show called Mind Over Magic. It's because Eric is a mind reader, Matt is a magician. Mind Over Magic. It's a great show. It's a podcast that, what do you guys do, weekly?
Yeah, weekly. Yep.
Weekly podcast. And it's awesome because not only are these guys podcast partners, but they're like best friends. And so there's an awesome chemistry on the microphone, and you can hear it in the show. And it's not just about, if you're not a magician, it's still a good show because they don't talk about just inside baseball magic stuff. It's actually interesting. So you have 2 shows to subscribe to tonight. Go follow Mind Over Magic and follow Tell Me What to Google. I've got new Tell Me What to Google stickers that I send out to Patreon followers. So there's one more segment that you don't know about on the show, Matt.
Let's see it.
We do it every week, but you don't know what this is going to be about. This is called What the Shit Is This? Matt, what the shit is this?
All right.
So I had a few choices of it's not my it's not my intention to maybe talk about some of the more tragic magic type of things that are happening here, and maybe talk about some of these like I don't want to embarrass you, but this ad was in the college books for a while, and I remember it.
Yes,
Everybody, tell us about this. What is this all about? What's happening here?
That's this is an advertisement. Everybody loves ramen. Of course, it's a play on words, not the hippest reference, even back in 2013, which it looks like when this is from. Everybody loves ramen. Come on, It's a play on words, so it's memorable. People looking through the college magazine and they go, "What the heck's this?" You don't even know you're looking at a magician. You just see ramen and you go, "Oh, I want to know what this is," right?
Yeah.
So then you see the name, you read magic with a college twist, and then you read the smaller copy there, which I can't read from here.
Yeah.
But and then you go, "Man, we got to get this guy."
Yeah, you do mention, you say you won't believe what appears inside a sealed package of ramen noodles.
So it all ties in. It's not just a gimmick.
It all ties in. I remember this ad. There was this one, and then there was one with you throwing up cards into a toilet. But I couldn't find that one. Was that in the books?
That
Or-
was never in the books because I felt that it needed to, that was only used in situations where I was also present.
That makes sense. That's fair. Yeah, because otherwise
Looking through a magazine, seeing a toilet just conjures up images in your mind that are not necessarily necessary. But if there's a person there to counterbalance the weirdness of the ad, and then you go,
Sure.
oh, okay, he's a little bit normal, it helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I never
This
put
is
that one in the
gross,
books.
But he's a nice guy in person. So that's great.
I want to say, because you mentioned my name being in the credits on this show, like being like probably my top credit. Not true. You just reminded me, male performer of the year.
Male
Sounds really good, male performer. You don't know what I'm performing really, but it sounds good, right?
Male performer of the year. Hey, do you ever have that thing when like you're doing something in public and someone asks you what you do for a living and you're not in the mood to tell them that I'm a world famous magician. My name's on the billboard. Like they don't recognize you from the billboard on the link. Like what do you do in that situation?
I really, what do I do? It depends on my mood, but generally I will like answer it sort of vaguely to hopefully not have to dive into it's awkward. It's an awkward conversation that I'm not interested in having. So
the reason that I asked is because of the male performer thing. I've learned that if you say I'm an entertainer, it's like saying I'm a male performer. It's
right.
I was voted best male performer, and then it's like now it's worse.
Now try living in Vegas and telling people you're a male performer.
Yeah. So what I started doing is I treat it like a improv exercise, like a practice, and I lie.
Yeah.
So if let's say I'm out of town and I'm getting my hair cut, because when I'm in town, I get my hair cut at the same place all the time. They know who I am.
Right.
But if I'm out of town, I get my hair cut and they say, "Oh, you got the day off today?"
Right.
And I know it's coming. And so I'll say, "Oh, I install computers in businesses." I try to think of the thing that there's no way they want to chat more about.
Right.
And I just talk about that.
Landscape architecture is a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Have you ever done that? You ever just tell someone you do something else so you don't have to talk about it?
I've tried. It's hard to keep a straight face, and sometimes I feel bad letting that carry on. So I just try to answer it honestly, but answer it vaguely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I work at the Link.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. I work at the Link.
What do you do there? I work at the theater.
Yeah.
You know?
The theater. Oh,
what do you do at the theater? A little bit of this and that, you know.
I have many jobs. I
work at one of the shows.
I work in sales. And then she's driving home from her job and sees your face 20 feet on the billboard. And
hey, he's not a landscape architect.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or I guess the magician thing isn't cutting it. He's doing the landscaping as well.
Yeah, it's weird. He told me he has a side job. Pandemic's been tough on everyone, man.
Yeah.
It was so good to catch up with you, brother. I hope that we can do this again sometime. You need to come on my podcast sometime. I do a quiz segment at the end. It's a lot of fun. I had Peter Bois on this week, and he won a question, and it made me do the dishes. That was the stakes. So I said, if you get this one right, I'll go upstairs and do the dishes. So,
oh wow,
yeah, I like to come up with some fun prizes and things. So I hope to have you on the show.
What's in it for him though? You didn't do his dishes.
I can't remember. There's usually, if you get it wrong, I think if he got it wrong, he had to do his dishes.
Oh, okay.
And then there was another one where if he got it right, he had to donate money to charity or something like that. And
okay,
or no, if he got it wrong, I don't know. I come up with them every week, and they're always different. So,
well, I look forward to it because and we appreciate you coming on Mind Over Magic as well. So.
That was fun. Let's do it again. I haven't listened to your latest episode yet, but I'll have to do that.
Yeah, top 20 things of 2020. No, 10. But we each came up with 5 and some overlapped, so it was even
10.
less.
In
What's
2020, it couldn't have been more than 10 in 2020. Hard pressed to get to that number 11. Well, tell people where they can find out more about you. I mean, everyone probably already knows where to find Matt Franco, but let them know where you prefer.
Well, you can see my name.
Yeah, it's
here,
right there.
And notice the awkward spelling, M-A-T, like a doormat, bath mat, wrestling mat, M-A-T, just one T. And you just type that in to the old the internet. And my website will be there, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's all at Matt Franco Magic. and that's where we can hang out.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to have you on, man. It's good to see you.
Pleasure to be here, Michael. Thank you.
Have a good night, man.
Have a good one.
All right. So good to have Matt Franco on the show. I do greatly appreciate everyone who helps keep this show alive. And that brings me to the next point. The show is kept alive from my Patreon sponsors. And you can join for as little as $1 a month. And for that, you get all kinds of exclusive content, including being able to watch me perform live private magic shows. You can be the only ones to see that. If you're a fan and you want to show it, this is the best way. And the link is right here. It's patreon.com/Michael Kent. And we're getting near the end of the show. The first show back of the new year. It's time for a trick. So,
I used to work in a magic
that's a
shop,
pre-record.
and
Let's
the
do
owner
this.
of that magic...
That was an old one. This is live, and I want to use... Adam Parisi's in the chat. What's up, Adam? Adam, I am very old school when it comes to my calendar, and I have my phone for a lot of stuff, but I don't use it for calendars. For some reason, I love writing things down and crossing them off. So, Adam, I want you to think, don't type it in the chat just yet, but I want you to think of a day in the year, a month and day in the year that means something to you, but don't use your birthday because I see your name. I could Google you real quick or look on Facebook. I could find your birthday. I want you to think of maybe a friend's birthday or maybe a loved one's birthday or an anniversary or an arbitrary date that means nothing. And while you're doing that, there's something in here I want to show you. This is just a little envelope I'm going to put on my cabinet. We'll place it there. Perfect. We'll move over to this camera because I want you to see the inside of this book. I'm old school. I love writing things down, but look at the top of every page. Since there are 52 weeks and 52 cards, I wrote a different random card at the top of every page. I just went through the entire deck of cards and I wrote different cards for every week in the year. Adam, I want you to type into the chat now, what was the date that you were thinking of? Just type it into the chat and we'll see it right there. And Adam, it can be absolutely any date. How is the envelope floating, says Eric. I put it, there's glass there. It sticks to the thing. There's glass there. Adam says October 2nd. And what does that mean to you? I'm going to find October. I'm just curious what your lucky card is. What does October 2nd mean to you? October 2nd is right here. October 2nd just happens to correspond to the Four of Diamonds. If you would have said, and that's your wedding day, and there's no way that I would have known that. If you would have said September 29th, it would have been the Ten of Spades. These are all different cards. Throughout the whole book, they're all different. Yours just happened to be the Four of Diamonds. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a random card in my book. It just corresponds to the Four of Diamonds. Here's why that's interesting. This envelope, only thick enough for one card. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this. The only card in my envelope. The Four of Diamonds. Adam, thank you so much for helping out. Tune in next week, everyone, for the hilarious Jonathan Burns. Everyone, we will see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Hey friends, over the years, I've had hundreds of unofficial supporters. Now, you can make it official. Join my Patreon, 4 different levels, tons of exclusive benefits, access, behind the scenes, backstage video, access to shows that you normally wouldn't get to see, producer support, credits, shout outs, VIP events, everything you can think of. And you can join for as little as $1 a month. So thank you in advance for your support. I love all of you.